In this 25th anniversary year of September 11th, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation continues to honor America's heroes. Heroes like Fire Lieutenant Michael Wells, who was inspired by 9/11 to serve his community. After 14 dedicated years of service, he lost his battle with occupational cancer, leaving behind his wife, Katie, and their 3 children. Tunnel to Towers honored Lieutenant Wells by paying off the family's mortgage in recognition of his sacrifices. Donate $11 monthly and amplify your impact with a car or land donation. Go to T2T.org.
Excuse me! Taxi!
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Joining me now, as always, former Congressman Peter King. Congressman, how are you? How's your family?
Dominic, we're all doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I want to get right to it because we have a lot to talk about. So the King speaking now before a joint session of Congress, and all of this comes as the Prime Minister of the UK refused to let the U.S. use their air bases against Iran. President Trump was very upset with that, but yet he appears to be a big fan of the King's, and he even noted that his mother thought that King Charles was cute, as the president said a while ago. What does this visit mean, in your opinion?
Yeah, actually, I think it means a lot, or it can mean a lot. I actually had the opportunity to meet with Prince Charles then. It was back in, I guess, 2011. It was right after bin Laden was killed, and right after
Wow.
It was right after the royal wedding between William and Kate. He was over here for a meeting, and I got invited down to the British Embassy, and I was one of the people there talking with him. In fact, I was all set to talk to him about world affairs, and Rosemary was with me, and the two of them got into a discussion about the wedding the week before. So I had to stand there and listen to that. But no, he was a great guy, and again, I found him very, very personable, very down to earth, really a great supporter of the United States and of the relationship between the United States and Britain. I also had the opportunity to meet Queen Elizabeth several years before that. Again, that was only more of like a 1-minute conversation, but again, very, very gracious. And there is, listen, I'm Irish. I have a lot of issues with British misrule in Ireland over the years. And having said all that, we haven't had a stronger ally than the British, whether it's Churchill and FDR in World War II, whether it was Churchill and then other prime ministers since then throughout the Cold War, whether it was Tony Blair after 9/11. This has been a special relationship, and having been on the Homeland Security Committee and the Intelligence Committee, I can tell you that our two countries share intelligence, and even when there's tough times between the president and the prime minister, as far as I know, certainly then, and I would assume now, that ongoing share of intelligence continues. So we have a lot in common with them, and there are disputes. There's obviously right now. I think that the prime minister was wrong in not offering more help up front. Now, they are actually doing quite a bit now, and I know they are offering, I believe, to get involved with the mine sweeping, but I think we're just talking about two different people, in President Trump and the British Prime Minister. I'm not saying it's in fairness to him, because it's up to him as a leader to stand up to it, but I think there is like an anti-American, certainly anti-Trump attitude among certain elements of the British, certainly among his more left-wing Labour Party, and so he's not given the same cooperation, like I said, that Tony Blair or Churchill or Margaret Thatcher would have given. But I hope it can be worked out, and because, again, we have a lot in common, and apart from all that, just practically, all the democratic countries of the world, I'm saying that with a small d, really have an obligation to work together, because there's evil forces out there led by, Islamist radicals, led by China, by Russia. There's a lot of enemy forces out there, potential enemies and current enemies. And so to the extent we can keep our alliance with the British strong, or remake it strong, and then also to have a better relationship with NATO, where they do step up and meet their obligations in a better way. It's better for all of us, but it's not going to come easy, and I give credit for the president to try to work his way through it.
Well, there are two things that I want you to listen to, Congressman King. One, This is Mark Beckman, who is the senior advisor for the First Lady of the United States, Melania Trump. He appeared on Fox News, and rightfully so, calling for Jimmy Kimmel to be terminated from ABC.
He responded last night. What does Melania think about that? Is she buying it?
It's done. It's over. Jimmy Kimmel should be terminated from ABC. And I think ABC needs to determine, is this the type of person and violent rhetoric that it wants to affiliate with? Think about it. ABC has been protecting Jimmy Kimmel now for a long time. This isn't an isolated incident. It's been going on and on and on. And the problem, as you're very well aware, is that there are crazy people out there who are listening to this violent rhetoric, this terrible political-oriented violent rhetoric, and they're turning it into action. So for the third time now, our president has had his life at risk.
Yeah.
And it's because of this rhetoric. There's no doubt about it.
It's
so the First Lady's had enough.
So, Congressman King, your take on this situation? I think that Jimmy Kimmel is a sleazebag looking to get paid off of the back of the president and the First Lady. Your take on this situation?
I think you and I would use worse language if we weren't on the air. No, he's a real lowlife.
Absolutely.
And when he tries to pass it off, well, I was just talking about Donald Trump being older than Melania and all that kind of nonsense. The fact is, you're talking about a president who has had two serious assassination attempts. One which came within probably a half inch of killing him and murdering him. And so this isn't the context where you had some like Friars Club party and people joking around. You're talking about a president of the United States, the leader of the free world, who has had two very serious assassination attempts coming in with inches of killing him, murdering him. And also we know that there are any number of threats out there at any given time. And we also know with social media and with the growing number of mentally ill people in the country, that something like that is just an incentive. It gives them an excuse to attempt to take the life of the president. So no, that's absolutely no excuse. If he means what he says, then he was a dope. If he's that ignorant not to realize the importance of his words with all the people he's speaking to on his show and joking about the president of the United States dying soon, then he's either kidding himself or trying to think, the rest of us are dopes and are falling for his line of BS.
Congressman, I think perhaps the biggest thing you said just now is that if you and I were not on the air right now, we would have much stronger language to say about Jimmy Kimmel. I mean, he's just despicable. I mean, anyway, and we both know he would never make a joke like that about Obama or Michelle Obama. Never in a million years. It just wouldn't happen. Okay, let's get now to second comment I want you to listen to. Norah O'Donnell, 60 Minutes, interviewing President Trump, and she actually quotes from this nuts manifesto asking the President of the United States of America ridiculous questions that no reputable journalist would ever ask. And this is the way Bill O'Reilly responded to that.
O'Donnell had no cause to read the ramblings of a loon. None. Yet she tried to humiliate the President of the United States, who was just attacked, and it was edited. There isn't one person in CBS who knows that. That's called gutter snipe reporting. That's what the National Enquirer does. Oh, look who said this about you. It's not true. Then why are you throwing it out there? You can't do that if you're a responsible journalist. You have to verify it. So the president was absolutely 100% correct in saying to Miss O'Donnell, who I know, okay, you should be ashamed of yourself of reading that. And she should be, but she's not. I'm just doing my job. No, you're not. Talk about malpractice. My God.
Congressman King.
I agree with O'Reilly completely there. And the fact is that, first of all, at one level, she's also almost saying that the President of the United States has an obligation to defend himself against the rantings of a madman and an attempted assassin. So you have one of the most powerful people in the world being put on the same level as an ultimate lowlife. I mean, that to me was, to begin with, is bad enough. Secondly, to bring up these scandalous charges for which is no basis. And once they're out there, she knows that many people listening, all they'll know was that now we're talking about Epstein and the president, and it somehow raises those charges back up. It puts him, she thought, on defense, and so I'm glad he didn't even try to explain anything, just basically go at her and tell her how wrong she was. And I agree with Bill O'Reilly. I mean, I'm not a journalist, he is, but just from what I know about journalism, and you certainly would, I'm sure agree, Dominic, because you're a great journalist, is you don't you don't ask somebody to defend themselves against scurrilous charges if there's no basis for them. I mean, that's just, it's horrible, absolutely horrible, especially when you're talking to the President of the United States after an attempt on his life to bring this up. It's one thing if he was trying to hide from some scandal in the past. The fact is, there's absolutely nothing at all to back up this. It's been disproven, it's been discarded, and for her to bring that up at this time, at any time, but especially at this time, was indefensible.
It was really garbage journalism. Congressman King, I want to end on this note, and I want to make this comment to the audience. We see all your telephone calls. We're going to get to them. That the congressman, every week, he has no idea what I'm going to talk about, what I'm going to ask him. He just rolls with the flow, and he does so in an expert manner. So, Congressman, you may disagree with me on this one. My contention, after having been around the Secret Service going back to 1988, I don't see anything that they did wrong Saturday night. Now, could there have been a second layer of protection so that if somebody gets past the first one? Perhaps. But, some people are just bashing them. What's your take on what happened Saturday night?
First of all, the agents on the ground did all they had to do, expected to do, and they did it well. They did it brilliantly, and put their lives in the line. And as far as whether or not there should have been more perimeters of defense, the fact is that hotel has been used for more than 50 years. I've been to a number of the dinners, again, with the presidents there over the years. This has not occurred before. And he was stopped. He got nowhere near the room. But no, I think I think it may be difficult to have events there in the future, because now that we know a person checked himself into the hotel, and no matter where you put those magnetometers, they're going to be so close. They are still going to be close to the staircase leading downstairs to the level where the ballroom is. And so a person with explosives, if you come charging through those magnetometers and you make it just another, 40, 50 feet, I haven't been there in a while, whatever, and get to that staircase, then you can, either explode yourself, blow up yourself, throw an explosive device, just kill a lot of innocent people. So I think they should consider having it like in a convention center, a place that can be totally secured, because there's 1,000 rooms, like 1,007 rooms in that hotel. So if there's 1 or 2 people in each room, you're talking about somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000 people. You can't be having all of them have their backgrounds checked. You can't have their rooms being inspected to see if there's any weapons coming in. It becomes almost impossible. Plus, having 2,500 people coming in that night. Also, another thing, I think, forgetting the fact of a terrorist threat, even just if there was a fire, that room, you can't move. The chairs are literally back to back. And if you notice, like the Secret Service guys were leaping from table to table because there was no lane for them, to go through. So I think a lot has to be looked at. But as far as that night, they did what they had to do. And boy, it's so easy to criticize. Anytime there's any incident, you can find someone. This could have been done. That could have been done.
Thank you.
But if you're the man and woman on the spot, you're going to make quick decisions. And again, the fact is, this guy succeeded, and there was no loss of life, and there was no serious injury. So, to me, it could be better going forward. But based on what was known, I think they did an excellent job.
Congressman King, it's always great to chat with you, and you're so correct. It's always so easy to criticize Hollywood. Well, I would have spun around and dropped down to my knee and did a somersault and then shot him. All of this nonsense. Congressman King, thank you so much. As always, thank you for joining us.
And Rosemary's waving. She said, send my love to Dominic. So there you go.
Oh, I'm sending it right back. Thank you, Congressman.
The
The playoffs are here, and you can predict the action all the way to the finals with FanDuel Predicts. Predict the spread, the total points, and even the game-winning moments that make the playoffs. Sign up and get a $25 bonus with FanDuel Predicts.
Offered by FanDuel Prediction Markets, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant. 18 plus bonus is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Trading derivatives involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Manage your activity with their consumer protection tools. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/predicts/bonus-offer-terms.